If you have or want the latest Ryzen 9950X3D CPU, you need the right graphics card to pair it with. As you probably know, the 9950X3D is the fastest CPU overall in the entire market. So having a bad graphics card alongside it basically means wasting your money and CPU's potential. That's why I show you the 5 best graphics cards that you can pair with the Ryzen 9 9950X3D for different budgets and monitor resolutions. The links to these graphics cards with the latest pricing and availability in your region will be down below in the video description. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. With the first one, we have the cheapest one on the list in the RX 9070. This is one of the latest GPUs from Nvidia, and I wouldn't recommend you pairing the 9950X3D with a graphics card with less performance than this one. The reason for that is because the 9950X3D is the fastest CPU in the world, so you want at least a graphics card that's fast. Now, the RX 9070 is an amazing 1440p graphics card that's going to be amazing for gaming at 1440p. In fact, you can expect well over 100 FPS on average, high to ultra settings in high demanding titles, and if you want to play esports shooters, since you get the fastest CPU in the world, you can expect well over 300 FPS on average competitive settings, so feel free to go with a 240 or even 360 1440p monitor. And the 9070 is also very decent for content creation and productivity work in case you want to do more than just gaming, and that would make sense because the 9950X3D is designed not only for gaming but also for content creation. The price for this graphics card by the time of filming is around 800 USD, which is unfortunately very expensive for this type of GPU, but the market right now has some horrible pricing, so this is the cheapest graphics card that you will find for the 9950X3D unless you go for a GPU that's in the used market. Now, if you want the best value graphics card alongside the Ryzen 9 9950X3D, I would recommend you going with the RTX 5070 Ti. Now, of course, since the pricing is horrible, it doesn't mean that this graphics card is good value, but compared to other GPUs in the market, it's not as expensive and it's also one of the fastest graphics cards in the entire market. The 5070 Ti is a beast of a 1440p and 4K graphics card, and you will be able to average well over 130 FPS on average at 1440p high to ultra settings in high demanding games. You also get a very strong level of ray tracing performance. You get DLSS 4, which is an amazing upscaler in case you want to play games with DLSS enabled, and it's also one of the fastest graphics cards when it comes to productivity and content creation. So you get one of the best GPUs overall in the market, and it's also not the most expensive one. By the time of filming, you can find it for around 970 bucks. Maybe when you're watching this is even cheaper. You will find the links down in the description in case you want to check the latest prices and availability. Now, as I said before, the 5070 Ti is also very fast for 4K resolution, and you can expect around 80 FPS on average in high to ultra settings, high demanding games, or even more if you are playing with DLSS depending on the game and depending on the exact settings. So feel free to go with a 4K or 1440p monitor, and it's also very fast for esports games. So if you want to compete, feel free to go with a 480Hz 1440p or 4K monitor. Since pairing the 5070 Ti with a 9950X3D will give you very high FPS in games like Valorant, Fortnite, CS2, and games of that nature. If you want an ultra graphics card for the 9950X3D, then I recommend you upgrading to the RTX 5080. The 5080 is designed for 4K ultra settings, so if you want to have one of the best graphics cards for 4K when it comes to both gaming, productivity, and also content creation, then the 5080 might be the best option for you. Now, unfortunately, this one is quite more expensive than the 5070 Ti, and if you buy it right now, by the time of filming, it will cost you 1500 USD, which is an insane price for the RTX 5080. But again, the market has some horrible prices, so if you just want one of the best graphics cards in the market and you're willing to spend this amount of money, the 5080 is indeed a beast of a graphics card, and you will be able to play any game that you want at 4K or 1440p, or of course 1080p resolution, but I would recommend you having at least a 1440p monitor alongside the RTX 5080. And then if you have a bunch of money to spend and you just want the best graphics card that you can get right now, well, that's going to be the RTX 5090, and it's also going to be the most expensive graphics card in the entire market, but it is going to be the fastest one. So if you just don't care about money and you want the best of the best, the 5090 is going to be your best option. This graphics card is insane for 4K resolution. I mean, as I said before, it's the fastest one in the market, and it makes sense that you pair the fastest graphics card with the fastest CPU in the market. The 5090 will be able to average well over 140 FPS on average at 4K resolution high to ultra settings, and then at 1440p high to ultra settings you can expect around 200 plus FPS, which is again an insane number, but I would highly recommend you having a 4K monitor if you have a 5090. This graphics card is also the fastest one when it comes to productivity work and content creation, so there's no debate, this is the best graphics card that money can buy. Of course, if you are willing to spend 4,000 USD. I mean, this GPU should cost 2,000, but right now it's at 4,000, so very expensive. But again, this is not a graphics card that anyone should buy, and I would only recommend it to you if you really don't care about money and you just want the best of the best, or if you're a professional content creator who wants the best graphics card. That way you can be more efficient with your workloads. Remember that the pricing or availability might be different for every graphics card that I mentioned today. That being said, remember that you have the links down in the video description in case you want to check out the latest pricing and availability. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.